preparation to help us get through what we're experiencing and also to inspire us to resist and to be activists.
There's something that happens to people that normally motivates them to go down a certain path, a path of perhaps in your case, sort of higher consciousness. One might even say selflessness to a degree. What was that moment for you?
Um, just, I guess, a moment of truth in which everything that I was studying and looking at, I had to make a decision, and I think everyone does. At each point, as you look at this, it gets worse and worse and worse, and you have to decide, am I going to go on? Am I going to really look at this? Or am I going to go back and pull the covers over my head and, maybe smoke another joint or have another beer or whatever? And so I made a decision, as many people do, to just keep going. And I'm not sorry. I haven't looked back.
Yeah, it's almost like a lack of options to a degree. I'd say, or at least for me, it was. Now, many people are concerned of the future, and I gave a quote to you before the broadcast today by Lao Tzu saying, if you are depressed, it's because you're living in the past. If you are anxious, it's because you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you are living in the now. Can I make a postulation here? Because I've been listening to a lot of Patriot Talk Radio this last week that I've been off. And what I see so many of them doing is asking questions of experts. How bad is it going to get? When is it going to collapse? These kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that quote in context, it occurs to me that a lot of people are almost concerned enough to want to be anxious, to want to not be at peace by worrying about things that are not yet here and to not prepare themselves for it properly. Could
Mm-hmm.
you could you elucidate on that?
Sure. I think if we could sit down with Mr. Lao Tzu and talk with him deeply, he would probably say, well, basically the past, present, and future are all connected. It's very difficult to separate them. So for me, it's really important to understand how we got here, which is the past, and to look at what that could mean in the future, and then to be as present in current time, in the moment, as possible, as grounded within ourselves as we can be. And I get these questions all the time, as I'm sure you do. What's going to happen? When's it going to happen? Do you have a timeline? Blah, blah, blah. And what that comes down to, I think, a lot of the time is, how can I control this situation? Boy, if I just know what's going to